The Vibra Slap is a great addition to Toto's character. It's a great way to keep Toto relevant, and it's also a great way for Toto to have leveled up. Like, Mahito hurt Toto and basically took away 2 hands. And Toto said, okay, bet. I'm gonna actually take this and become even 10 times stronger because of it. Talk about turning a loss into an opportunity, right? Toto completely takes that motto seriously because, again, the Vibra Slap is such a niche instrument. So for Toto to know about it and be like, this is how I'm going to evolve my ability. And I love that we call it now Boogie Woogie. My big question is, how the fuck did he keep this big ass fucking instrument inside that bandage, whatever the hell he was keeping? He was really pulling the biggest, what's the word I'm looking for? The biggest catfish, I guess. I can't think of a better word, but I'm very happy with Toto's level up here because that was the biggest question for me when it came to Toto coming back is, oh my God, is this still Toto at Shibuya level? Toto at Shibuya level could barely beat Mahito. So like, what is he gonna do against the King of Curses? But this is a significant increase and boost in Toto's power for sure. This might not be Toto's whole technique as well. Agreed, yeah, this might not be everything that Toto has. It might not be at all. The swap doesn't occur when he hits the ball to the wood. The swaps occur because of the rattles that are making that noise. The ball hitting the wood is just a necessary catalyst. Ah, okay, interesting. So it's not like it's like the Vibra Slap isn't fucking hitting the thing repeatedly and constantly. I do love that Toto is able to keep up with Yuji in so many different ways. And I didn't really get to talk about Toto a lot in the video that I did covering the chapter, which was basically, again, the ranking of all the Gojo return theories. Toto has heavily impressed me. And I say it time and time and again, not because I'm a Toto simp, but because this was the best way for Toto to become an asset to Yuji here, right? It was the biggest question, like I said before, was how Toto is going to be able to help here, especially with, does Toto have Boogie Woogie? Is Boogie Woogie going to be enough to help against this Sukuna that has been inside of Yuji both times he fought alongside Toto? Sukuna is very familiar with Boogie Woogie, probably more than Mahito or any other character would be. So the upgrade here was very much necessary to throw Sukuna for a loop. And because Sukuna is dealing with all those different swaps to the point that the chapter even mentions it being like similar to a roulette, which the problem is because Toto is able to swap himself. I'm sorry, I just said that. Him, Yuji, Sukuna, and any other objects that he imbues with cursed energy in the entire vicinity, the fact that they're all swapping potentially 50 times in a row in just 1 second alone, it's impossible to keep up with. So to the point that even Sukuna mentions it, which of course is a great glaze to Toto. You know, we're never gonna complain about that. I mean, again, whether you want to agree with my sub-relativistic scaling or not, and calculating of how quick these motherfuckers are actually swapping and moving. Again, the characters, Toto isn't moving at sub-relativistic, which is why Sukuna is able to adapt, which is one of the biggest things in regards to it. Because, and Sukuna pretty much says as much when he's acknowledging that it's basically impossible to keep up with Boogie Woogie. Instead of trying to keep track of how often they swap, who's getting swapped with who, when is the next swap going to occur, instead of trying to do the impossible and keep up with just a relative speed that they can't even begin to understand, Sukuna says, well, I can begin to understand Yuji when he's ready to hit me. Yuji's gonna gear up and focus the moment he knows he's going in for the hit against me. So instead of paying attention to how often we swap, I just have to pay attention to the brat. And then as soon as he gears up for an attack, that's what I'll prepare for. So Sukuna is pretty much just letting bygones be bygones. He said, all right, swap me 50 times in a second. It doesn't matter. I'm just gonna wait for that direct moment, which, despite discussing how dizzy that would make you, I do think it speaks to Sukuna's battle intelligence and his IQ. I recently reread a lot of the Sukuna cycle for a big video that I'm going to be doing in regards to main villain finales, and I think overall what I learned a lot from retreading old ground, and what Sukuna does differently from a lot of other main villains that I've noticed, and I know a lot of people may not agree with me here, but I'll if you don't trust me, just let me cook on the video, because this is just the spark notes. It seems like a lot of the ways that Sukuna overcomes the protagonist cast is sometimes just, it's just like, come on. You know, Sukuna having Kamutoke just ready perfectly for Higuruma's perfect plan to not work and leave him with this mantle. I mean, sheesh. That's not really Sukuna winning because he's fucking an OP beast. That's Sukuna winning because the plot needs Sukuna to win in that moment. Like that's just a specific moment, and like there's a lot of different things that happen. Sukuna also gets made to look like a bitch by Gojo a lot in the Gojo versus Sukuna fight. Gojo embarrasses Sukuna often, which I think is funny. But that also drops Sukuna down a couple pegs. But without going further into it, Sukuna does have impressive battle IQ. That's something that's very much present in Shibuya Incident when he's fighting Maharaga. Sukuna has always been quick to deduce things. He's just like Megami, in a sense that Megami, in whatever situation he's in, Megami always is able to find an answer because he's smart as hell. Toto with the 530,000 IQ, jokes aside, Sukuna and Megami are the brainsters, the big brains of the entire series. That will remain the same. So I think that is something that we don't really get as much in this ending portion. Granted, I find in a lot of shonen animes, as you get towards the end, a lot of authors are going to start taking more and more liberties just to railroad the story into an ending that makes sense. You have to start taking certain liberties to start making things happen. You know what I mean? Like, the one thing that does worry me significantly in regards to this chapter in general is the Toto glaze. As happy as I am that Sukuna gave Toto his props and was like, oh, no one matches his egocentricity. Among the sorcerers, he's surely the peskiest. I must admit, he appeared exactly when I least wanted him to. Sukuna was waiting for Toto. This whole time, Sukuna knew Toto was a problem, which I respect. I think that goes hard as hell. Good for Toto that he can be remembered by the King of Curses. Ain't nobody had that type of glaze. He said no one matches Toto. I'm also super happy when it comes to Toto that we got a Toto fake out again on the main villain of the arc. Again, we got a Toto fake out where they just can't keep up with Boogie Woogie. They can't keep up with it. Not even Sukuna could keep up with it. Toto's swapping in motherfucking Mei crows. He's swapping in. He's not swapping. He's fucking with everybody. Toto goes 3 whole layers of deception. My trap had a trap that sprung a trap. That's how you gotta Toto's playing 4D chess. Sukuna thinks he's the true battle genius of the entire series when he's up against the 530,000 IQ master himself. Sukuna has finally met his match. Toto doing more than Kashimo. That's crazy to say, but I have to admit it. This is an iconic panel here. No one can handle the Yuji Toto duo. No one can handle the Yuji Toto duo. I'm telling you. It's unstoppable. Beyond unstoppable. Yuji lands another Black Flash. I have to know what percentage Yuji's working with here. Is Yuji just like maxed out stats? Like he can't even boost himself any higher? Like, is Gege gonna have Yuji finish Sukuna off with the 10th Black Flash? Punch in the same spot too. Yeah, go. Sukuna's mouth is remaining closed at this point. Like I don't think Gege's drawn Sukuna's mouth on his stomach in the last couple of chapters because he's been kept it closed. I feel like every single person has taken the perfect opportunity they have to punch that motherfucker right in his mitt. Said, all right, if I can't punch you in your face, let me punch you in your fucking mouth stomach, bro. That's what Yuta immediately went for. Sukuna watching Mahito get worked. Couldn't be me, dog. Also, Sukuna, stop clapping. I'm gonna throw up. Yo, so true. I love that he even like thinks about the feint swap. Like he thinks about the Mahito moment when he goes, he's going for a feint. I'll strike him here. Sukuna literally is like, I've seen this before. Don't worry, you won't catch me. And then he literally fucking tricks him. I gotta give Toto his props here. Toto has sincerely come out on top here. I loved every moment of the Toto show. Jujutsu Kaisen was amazing. Hey, Noop, do you have an explanation on why Yuji doesn't have his eye? I mean, Yuji just might not be focused on fixing his eye. We've seen before Yuji has to really focus to use reverse curse technique. Even rereading it, you even see when Yuji's inside of Yuta's domain expansion, Yuji is like fighting against Sukuna inside the domain, and every time Sukuna knocks Yuji down, he's like yelling at himself. He's like, heal, heal, heal. You gotta keep going. You gotta keep fighting. He's literally like yelling at himself. Which Yuji is me in any intense situation whatsoever, just mentally fucking berating myself to do better. You can fucking do better. Stop it. Heal, heal, damn it. You can do this. Yuji's so relatable. But anyway, yeah, Yuji needs to really focus. We also see it after Yuta's domain expansion, right? When Yuji's away from the fight while Maki's fighting Sukuna, Yuji needs to like take a pause and like has to like stop and like visualize reverse curse technique a minute. So he can heal himself, but he's not the best. And Yuji's been doing a lot of work right now. So Yuji may not have had the time to focus on healing his eye. I also imagine healing a full-on organ or wound or whatever, you know, a full-on eye is probably a little bit more intense than like healing a cut open wound, you know. Like again, we also see when Shoso's coaching Yuji in that small breather that he takes, that he has to visualize how the reverse curse technique would heal his entire body. So like I imagining what it takes to heal your entire eye, as opposed to heal like a cut on your arm and just like, oh, I just have to put flesh back here, as opposed to, how do I make an eye? You know what I mean? Like you have to fully visualize what makes an eye. You know, it would be terrible if you could reverse curse technique wrong and like you make your eye wrong and you're like, oh my God, this is bad. Now, again, like I said before, that is my favorite theory if Gojo does come back. If this is Gojo coming back, that all tying into the Cursed Corpse, 3 souls all observing each other thing, I'll accept it, right? I won't be happy, but I'll take it. Because that is something that I feel like has been building on in the background for so long, and I'm not entirely sure how it's supposed to play in the grand scheme of things, right? I've always been wondering what Gege is going to do with the cursed corpse, the three souls observing each other, because in my opinion, if it's something that gets left by the wayside and never amounts to anything, it's a pretty big red herring. It's possible, but I think it should have something important, because again, it's been brought up so many times. You know, pandas, and for a series, I said it in my Gojo theory ranking, for a series that prides itself on leaving things up to interpretation sometimes and only explaining what's necessary, it's very interesting that we have harped back and explained and over-explained and repeated and reminded us what the hell Yaga's curse technique does and how it basically creates life. And even rereading the chapter where Yaga dies, it's interesting where Yaga even mentions your nephew to Kusakabe. He mentions your nephew. That's not your nephew. It is your nephew's soul data basically being recreated, right? It's not reincarnation, but you can impart that data onto a cursed corpse. So again, if anything, that's what I would love to see the most. I would love to see that coming back into play, and that being how Gojo gets revived, if Gojo gets revived. Personally, I would rather Gojo stay dead. Personally, but that's a personal preference. Personal preference indeed. Dion, thank you for the 5 stepping in. I'm so confident that it isn't Gojo. Y'all can hold me to it. If it's Gojo, I'll get 50 memberships on the spot. Hey, maybe I want it to be Gojo now. I'm just kidding. But yeah, I feel that, Dion. Like, that's where I'm at, where like I've made so many bets and I'm just so willing to stake so much on Gojo not coming back. But you don't know. If Gojo comes back, that would indeed be an interesting development. Wasn't Gojo's body moved? Could that be what was being hinted at? Yeah, Gojo's body was moved, indeed. I've seen a lot of very funny theories, because not for nothing, again, I think Gojo's dead, right? So if we're to use some theory crafting, let's say this is actually Yuji learning how to use his memory manipulation domain expansion. That'd be kind of crazy, huh? People have been theorizing about that memory manipulation for freaking years now. How crazy would it be if, even though Gege said to us, nah, that's not a thing, Yuji doesn't have memory manipulation, what if he lied to us the whole time and Yuji does have memory manipulation, and this is Yuji activating his domain expansion, and now he's like, I'm showing you Gojo. Next, I'm gonna show you Megami. And we're all of us in spirit, all of my friends, Nanami, Nobara, all of my dead friends, we're all gonna beat your fucking ass together. I think it's just a representation of Sukuna being at death's door. There's so many possibilities of what it could be. So many possibilities of what it could be, right? I've even said that it's possible Yuta's body was, you know, destroyed beyond repair, and Yuta actually, because isn't it crazy that Yuta killed Kenjaku and then chose to not steal a single curse technique from him? Why did we do that? Why did Yuta kill one of the main villains of the series and not take any of his curse techniques? Imagine Yuta with curse spirit manipulation, Yuta with gravity manipulation, Yuta with brain hop. So what if Yuta stole Kenjaku's brain hop and then hopped into Gojo's body? I'd accept that. I just Yuji here hitting the black flash on Sukuna, and then just digging his fingers, his little claws, his little fingies into Sukuna's fucking chest there. What the hell are you doing, Yuji? What are you doing, bud? No break for sure, so we will be finding out what the hell happens next week. Thank God. If we were on a break week, I think I would lose my mind. I think I would actually lose my mind if we were on a break week. Gonna be a heated leak night. Potentially. Blood will be shed for sure in Minecraft, because it's like, I've seen so many people bring it up. If Gojo is alive, people are gonna be very much emboldened. And then you'll have the people that think it's bad writing. There'll be a huge rift in the community. If Gojo isn't alive and it was a fake out, you'll have a lot of people that are emboldened, and there'll be a huge rift in the community because you'll have all the people that wanted Gojo to come back now upset that they got trolled into thinking Gojo was gonna come back. The thing is like Gege though, like who else but Gege? You know, who else would pull a big troll with one of their favorite characters and know people would be pissed afterwards? All I'm saying is, it's not hard to believe that Gege would be trolling motherfuckers, because Gege doesn't give a fuck who he pisses off. Zachary